welcome sports fans. This is Western Herald Sports Double Take. I'm Emily Rulo with Michael Johnson, Jared Orlando, and Sam Meads. Today's topic, we're going to start with Western Michigan football program has officially signed a contract to play USC, the University of Southern California, for the season of 2017. The Broncos will travel to the Trojan home at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in September of that year. What do you guys think about this matchup?
The matchup's crazy. Just a powerhouse school in USC going against Western. That's a lot of exposure for the Broncos. But I think the real big story here is about Coach Fleck. He's doing a great job, not just with his recruiting, but to get big games set. That's something that coaches before haven't done. He just one hell of a coach.
Totally agree with that. Like you said, recruiting. We were talking about recruiting 2 years ago. Recruiting pitch, MSU Rose Bowl champions. Now this year for recruiting, he's hosting a Cotton Bowl champion MSU, and they're playing a national champion Ohio State. Next year playing two Big Ten teams. Then the year after that, 2017, now we're playing USC and Michigan State in the same. Huge recruiting for that, and he's expanding borders just all over America.
You guys really nailed it with the recruiting thing. It's going to benefit recruiting big time, especially in California. Western goes out to LA and they're going to get their brand out there, get their cool uniforms that everyone's going to get to see now because they're playing USC, and it's going to help their recruiting to maybe get kids that USC, UCLA, and other Pac-12 teams may not want. Hey, come to Western and play for a great mid-major program.
Yeah, you said a good thing there, Sam. Getting this brand out there, that's one thing that Coach Fleck really pushes, getting that brand out there. He talks a big game about what's your brand, and him just pushing the Western Michigan Broncos all the way to the other side of the nation, going all the way out to California. That gets all the schools out there looking like, oh, who is this team? They're pretty good. I like their uniforms, like you said. That's something that can boost the recruiting for years to come, and he's already doing one hell of a job now. So after getting more exposure, the Broncos can only get better, I assume.
You talk about brand financially too. This is huge for our school.
But aside from recruiting, put that aside, and PJ Fleck's huge influence on widespreading America with the players, for them actually playing these big name teams, what do you guys think about them basically going out there and running around like crazy trying to keep up with these big name teams? Is it really going to do a whole lot for the athleticism, or is it really just about recruiting and branching out? It's
a combination of everything. We can play with these guys. It's getting so much more even in competition in college football. I honestly think they can play with them.
Yeah, we rode the boat here at Western Michigan, and Coach Fleck, again, another thing he always talks about is being elite. And to be elite, you got to play elite teams. You can't just keep on playing lower-class teams. You want to be the best, you got to play the best. You got to beat the best. Going against these big-time schools and beating them at their place, that's showing that you're the best. That's showing that Western Michigan is now here, and now Western's here to stay, and we're gonna make some moves, and hopefully down the line maybe win a national championship. That's my hopes.
So. You talk about how mountain, the higher up you get in the mountain, the harder it gets. So you're gonna get to the top, you get to play the best. So
I know he's all about the biggest risk and stepping out there to get all of his accomplishments done, which is a great aspect for a coach, and I'm really excited to see what he brings past 2017 with recruiting-wise and setting up games from all over. We're playing big names within the state and now without. So,
well, one thing, let's take a step back and slow down for a second. This is not until 2017.
Right.
We don't even know if Coach Fleck's even going to be here at this point.
Very good point.
Now, the way Western's program is trending, it's getting better and better, and the way it's looking, they're going to be one of the top non-power conference teams probably around then. But this could very well be the first game of a new coach. Now, it's impossible to break down and say, hey, maybe we can beat USC 2 years from now. It's impossible to really know what USC is going to look like on September 2nd, 2017, and what Western Michigan is going to look like. in 2017.
There is a lot to consider and keep looking forward. I mean, it's 2 years from now, so if you're right, we might not even have the same coach, same players, neither with USC, but it's definitely pushing our program forward to where I think we want it to go, just as long as it keeps within the same group of people, hopefully.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is to have this
All
big
this
time
on their plate.
exposure and then get just swamped like by 67 points, you know?
Yeah.
But football aside, this is great for the university because they're going to be on national TV. People are going to be able to see what Western Michigan is. You're going to see that name. They're going to see the Broncos on TV. That's going to help with enrollment too, possibly getting your name out there.
Yeah, they're going to go west to go east.
Yeah.
All right, well, row the boat. We'll move on. Our next topic now comes from Baylor, and we have a walk-on running back named Silas Nikita, who is actually no longer a member of their football team because he has apparently broken NCAA rules. Michael, would you like to dive more into the topic and details of this?
Man, the NCAA is just stupid sometimes, for real. If you look into the story...
Why don't you tell me exactly what happened?
So the kid is homeless, going into college, playing at Baylor. You know, he's going couch to couch. He's couch hopping from teammates, friends, you know. And he gets some money from a family friend to get an apartment. And that's something that is not allowed in the NCAA because it's a benefit that's not provided for the rest of the students. He did not work for that apartment. His family friend paid for that apartment. So that's him getting a benefit that's extra. Other students aren't just, here, have some money for an apartment. So the NCAA draws the line in any extra benefit, small, large.
Which people wouldn't think that somewhere to live is considered a benefit, but according
the
to those
NCAA,
rules, it's a benefit.
The NCAA is strictly black and white on a lot of issues, and the world is not black and white. There's white, black, grays, all types of everything, you know? It's not like he got a car. The kid got a home. You know, he was homeless and he got a home.
But it is improper benefits, though, because why don't they give every homeless person on campus a home then? Just because he's on the football team, that's what it looks like to me. So, I mean, how is that fair?
To me, my biggest thing would be now it has to be investigated of this close personal family friend of his. You know, if someone's homeless, to me, I would do anything that I could do to get shelter. That's his first main thing. You know, it's not being on the football team. Yes, that's a huge dream of his and that's a big accomplishment for him. But I'm pretty sure that having a home and having a roof over your head is more important than being on a football team. And I understand that there are rules and it's black and white and it's very vivid of what goes and what doesn't. But if someone needs a place to live, I think it's the university's responsibility to not only help their own, but make sure that they're safe. If they want them to play on their team, they need to take care of their own.
I agree with that, but it said here he was, the coach, Art Browse, was unaware of anything was going on, so this kid never said anything.
That's another point, too, is he never came to anyone to talk about it before, so if he was comfortable with couch surfing, and now all of a sudden he has an apartment, there's a lot of weird lines going on in here that you're not really sure of what side of the story you're going to get.
It also said he transferred from Cornell. Why, if he didn't have a home, why would he transfer? I mean, are we debating this topic or the bigger topic at hand that the rules the NCAA is putting on these kids is unfair?
I think the rules are very black and white for people who don't understand them, and I think the players go over them more than enough times for them to understand what the rules really are. But if something as simple as having a place to live or even, you know, going out to dinner and someone can't buy you dinner to where it's against the NCAA rules, that to me just seems completely ridiculous.
Okay, I have 2 points. First of all, the NCAA, like you said, it's ridiculous. How can you not give a kid that's a first-team, all-academic Big 12 football player, how can you not provide this kid a home if you're the NCAA? Knowing whether they knew or not, there's no way that this kid should not be able to get an apartment even on campus when he's on the football team. That's just ridiculous in itself. Second of all, if you're Art Briles, how do you not know your football players living conditions. How do you not know that one of your players on your team has nowhere to live? I think that's a hit on Art Briles
And their whole program.
and his control of his program. Like, how do you not know that as a coach? Coaches like PJ Fleck, they preach that they're a family. Their whole program's a family. How do you not know a member of your family is going through something like this? I think that's a hit on Art Briles and the way he runs his program to not know this.
See, you got to realize who the kid is, though. The kid is a walk-on.
It doesn't matter. He's still part of the football program.
The kid's a walk-on. Now, as a walk-on myself, I walked onto the Western football team, and, you know, life is different from being a walk-on and being a scholarship player. You know, you're just a practice dummy when you're a walk-on. You're just the one that gets knocked around. You know, you got to make your mark. You know, him going to coach and saying, yo, I don't have a place to live, you know, as a walk-on, that'd make me seem weak, you know, and it's like, no, I can take care of myself. I can find a way to get it. And it's not like, I'm saying, the kid, it's his dream to play football. The NCAA should be lenient, at least in this. They should take it by case is what I say. They shouldn't just say, oh no, you got a Snickers from somebody, so now you're ineligible. You know, no, they should take it case by case. And yeah, like Emily said, there are a lot of times where players do over-exaggerate the rule, and they'll get brand new cars, they'll get a lot of money, they'll get new clothes, get new shoes. You know, that's different. I think if this is a case by case basis, I don't think this kid should get in trouble for having a place to live. I think that's the problem.
Do you think the NCAA even knows about this now, though? Like, do they know now? Because they issued a tweet saying they had no idea about this. So I think Baylor was trying
it's on Baylor's side
to stop it, but it says he was a walk-on, but he was a backup who rushed for 3 touchdowns. So he had a part in the team. He was in those meetings. Usually the coaches know those two position guys. They're a lot closer than the kids that don't have any player, just are the scout team. So this kid was interacting with Art Briles, and I think Baylor's knew he was doing something wrong and trying to cut it, but it's still, I think it's wrong.
I think it comes down to Baylor's trying to cover themselves.
Baylor is trying to cover themselves, and a lot of schools do that. They don't want, the player did something, let's not make us look bad. We're going to discipline you before the NCAA disciplines you. And that fear of what the NCAA rule is, I feel, is what has made Baylor just cut this kid, let him go because of that rule. If there was that rule, if it was a case-by-case basis, you never know. The kid probably might still be on Baylor, and it would be taken to the NCAA level, and it would have made it that far, you know? But I think because Baylor is scared because of the rule, they don't want to get in trouble. So they're like, you know, we're going to handle this internally, and we're just going to cut you.
But it's Nikita's fault, too, because he said, I had no idea I was breaking the rules. I had no idea I was doing something wrong. You're still breaking the rules, and you're still doing something wrong.
I think he needs to know what the rules are, but when it comes down to having a place to live, that shouldn't be a rule and somewhere where you don't belong. It's just morally not right for him to not have a place to live.
But it's still improper benefits.
But even their coach is saying, oh, he's a tough guy, you know, if we were worried about him, you know, we need to just let that go. He's a tough guy, he can make it. But it's not about him being able to make it, it's that they don't really know what's going on with this kid because he's not talking to them. You know, he's an academic honors student. He transferred from Cornell. I'm not really understanding how he's that smart of a guy, transferring from Cornell, knowing that you're going to be in a whole other place and not know where to live. That's where it confuses me, I guess. But I do not comply with the fact that they would not support him when he needed a place to stay. I mean, especially as a coach, and having this many players on your team, you need to take care of your own, or at least know what's going on with your players.
Well, I think we're going to have to touch back on this next week because it says, Art Briles stated it's unfortunate, you know, hopefully there'll be remedy. Hopefully there'll be a chance for continuous dream. So we're going to find out this week.
Yeah, we'll see where this goes.
Really interesting topic.
We'll move now more into the NFL, and we're talking about Reggie Bush being cut from the Detroit Lions. I know there's a few different controversies about this. Some people are happy, some people are mad, so we'll just jump right into it.
A couple years ago, he was escorted to Ford Field in a limo. Now he's here's the door. I mean, how quickly things can change. Wow. Yeah, I think I'm glad.
You're happy about the
76 carries, 297 yards in 11 games. I could do that. Seriously, you can find someone off the streets that can do that. He should not. That's a huge contract we're letting go. Needed to get rid of it. Yes,
much needed extra money.
The money's getting paid for that productivity. No.
Yeah, I understand it, but man, he just cut Reggie Bush. Like,
I think it's more than name.
He just cut Reggie Bush. Like, I understand. The NFL is a business. It's a what have you done for me lately type of business, So I understand you play 11 games, you get 297 yards. Yeah, that's you can get a third round running back to do that. I don't know anybody off the street how to do that.
Or a free agent.
But still though, it's the potential for Reggie Bush. I think the thing that he does when he's in games, the potential of him stretching the field, that is something that the Lions need to replace. If they can't replace that, the cutting of Reggie Bush will be something that will bite them in the butt, because it's like he was more of a decoy, I would say, last year. And I know watching the Lions games, they would always have a spy on him because he's Reggie Bush. You're not going to just let him run all free.
The emergence of Golden Tate, I think this year really made him disposable too, because he played a lot in the slot, and that's just pathetic. What he was putting up last year. That's
not only Golden Tate, but Theo Riddick as well.
True.
Theo Riddick basically is what Reggie Bush used to be, but he's way better at it than Reggie is now. And you say, yeah, it's Reggie Bush, but it's not Reggie Bush. He's not Reggie Bush anymore.
It's the injured, keep re-injuring Reggie Bush.
It's a shell.
I hate to say it, but I think he's done. I mean, he had a decent year in 2013, but 297 yards in 11 games. He just did not have the explosiveness last year that he always had in his career. And running backs, sometimes they just get worn out, and once they do, their career's done.
Sad life of a running back.
It's unfortunate, but that's like you said, that's the life in the NFL. And I think this is a move the Lions had to make, because Reggie Bush is just not the answer anymore.
Curse of the 30-year-old. He's 29, so.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just a USC fan, and I'm just a Reggie Bush fan. If I was the general manager, I would probably get fired because I wouldn't cut him. And if he went and had another poor year, I don't know. I'd try it out. I'd see what he did for me. Maybe not be the starter. Maybe just use him other places, or dock his pay, something. I don't know. I would find a way to keep Reggie Bush. I'm not letting that.
The move led to cap space. Why did they do that? Is the reasoning for the Ndamukong Suh?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely going to clear up space for Suh if the Lions want to resign him, which. Who knows what's going on with that situation?
I think they need him.
Because nobody's saying anything. Sue's not saying anything.
The Lions are a mess. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot going on underneath the surface. I think this is just the beginning of what we're going to start to see. And especially, I think they know that they need to free up money, and this is just the start of that. This is just the beginning. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Big in the draft. I think the Lions are going to have to get bad again before they can get good again, because they got kind of screwed over with the rookie pay scale in the draft. They were drafting high every year, having to pay these huge contracts when they set that rookie pay scale. So they're stuck with Stafford making top dollar. That's a first-round pick. Calvin making top dollar. He deserves it. But Sue's making top dollar. So they're going to have to dig themselves out.
Get bad to get good.
I listened that the Lions pay their top 3 players, I think it's second or third most of any NFL team, that they contribute their money to their top 3 players.
Which needs to be more widespread than that. You can't just put all your eggs in that one basket of the 3 players. I understand that there are obviously Calvin Johnson probably deserves to be paid as much as he does. But this Reggie Bush is a perfect example of the salary cap that we have to worry about. You got to get rid of what you don't need, and you need to keep what you.
You're going to find these teams.
What's replaceable.
Exactly, what's replaceable, and.
I think that the Lions aside, since we're on this topic, the Bears. They need to cut Cutler. I'm just bringing that out there as a Chicago man, as a Chicago fan. We're talking about the NFC North. The Bears need to cut Cutler.
Well, it's becoming a younger league. You're seeing a lot of the older veterans being cut because they're getting paid way too much. You can find a guy that's younger. For like A.J. Hawk got cut yesterday for the Packers. They're talking about Haloti Ngata being cut. Possibly Brandon Marshall. He's making a lot of money. He's getting up there in age. I don't see it.
Yeah, I understand the whole Reggie Bush thing and the whole veterans getting cut, but it's like, we know what, if I think that the Lions need to draft a running back in the draft because there are a lot of good running backs coming out this year, and taking away Reggie Bush, who is that name, who is that threat. They need to replace that, and they need to replace that in the draft.
Someone younger,
with someone younger who can carry the load
for
the
a fourth
Lions.
of the price.
For a fourth of the price. Yeah,
they're just
7 or 8
looking
years
to
younger.
get signed and stay with someone and get paid. Where I feel like veterans think that they deserve so much more, and a lot of the new guys are just like, I just want to make my start.
So talking about the draft, who do you think the Lions take in the first round?
Well, a lot depends on what they do with Sue. If they don't resign him, obviously defensive tackle is a top 3 need for them. If they do resign him, personally, if Todd Gurley is sitting there when the Lions are drafting, it's a big if. I know he's off a knee injury, but he's one of the best college running backs I've seen since Adrian Peterson.
That boy can play.
If Gurley's there, you got to pull the trigger because the Lions need a top back. Theo Riddick, great pass catcher, great third down back. He's going to play his role, but he's not an every down back. Joique Bell, great story, hometown kid. Is he a starting running back every day in the NFL? Probably not.
Is he a second string running back? I will argue that.
Does he have a place on the team? Does he have a place on the team? Yes. But you need to get another running back that you can give carries to because you have a quarterback that's incompetent in Matthew Stafford. In my opinion,
agree with you there.
He is not good enough to win on his own. He needs help around him if the Lions want any chance of going to a Super Bowl.
Especially when you take it outside. And he's playing in NFC North. You go to Green Bay or Chicago, It starts getting cold out there. Matt Stafford starts tightening up. You need to be able to run the football, So
do you think offensive line? I know in the Pro Bowl it's like a touch football game, but he looked a lot more comfortable when he could step up in the pocket and actually throw it. He is always throwing sidearm and running for his life. Do you think offensive line is a need?
Line is definitely a need. My top 4 needs are defensive tackle if Sue doesn't come back, running back. Definitely I think they have to go top 3 rounds. They have to go running back. Offensive line, and then probably one more in the secondary.
Yeah, they need to tighten up that secondary. If they draft another receiver, because I heard rumors, if they draft a receiver, the Lions are not going anywhere. I promise you. They do not need any more receivers.
Well, if they draft wide receiver, they're pretty much saying that they completely screwed up drafting.
And they completely don't care about winning.
They're saying they're giving up on Eric Ebron already after a year if they draft a wide receiver.
Right.
Herman Moore had scary similar statistics to Eric Ebron his rookie season, and he turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think it's too early. It's completely different.
It depends though how the draft looks out if they re-sign Sue, because
that changes
everything. Because if you keep him running back, maybe first, maybe second, you don't keep him on. Like you said, Sam, you need that defensive tackle. He's gonna have to be there right at the top because you got to replace Sue for what he does, the presence that he is. If you don't have him and you don't replace him with at least somebody.
And the thing is, you're not going to find anyone like him.
Exactly. So if you wait long, there's no one. You're going to get the scrubs. You're going to get the bottom of the barrel, and they're just getting ran over all day.
Smart strategy is what they need to work on.
So you talked about Todd Gurley. If they don't draft him, what other running backs are there in the draft?
This is a really strong running backs class this year. That's why if Sue does not come back, I would maybe lean toward taking defensive tackle or maybe even offensive lineman in the first round and then getting a running back in the second or third. You can get Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin. He had a fantastic career, even though Wisconsin running backs haven't exactly panned out in the past. Amir Abdullah, he's a good pass catcher. I personally am not a huge fan of him. I don't think
Small
he's going to be
hands, they say. He fumbles a lot.
I don't think he's going
Can't
to
be a back if you fumble, unless you're
an every
education.
down back in the NFL. I really like Duke Johnson from
Yeah, I really
Miami.
like
Duke Johnson.
And I really like Tevin Coleman. He's from Indiana. They weren't a very good team, so not a lot of people got to see him play. But he could be a good NFL running back as well.
Just throwing this out there, Jeremy Langford, Detroit guy, fastest 40 in the draft. I mean, you have the bruiser and Joint Bell, that speed guy. He can catch and he can pass block. So
Yep.
That would be something to see. I like Langford. He's
I like
good
him a lot
back.
too. I think he's slept on a lot just because he fouled up Le'Veon Bell, who is probably the greatest right ever play at Michigan State.
Yeah.
So,
I think we're definitely all looking into running backs, but it is a little early to dive in and see what they're going to do because things change while it's going on within
offensive
seconds
league. People
all
love
the time.
offense.
Yeah.
Love scoring.
But that's all that we have for today. Thank you for joining us for Western Herald Sports Double Take. I'm Emily Rulo, Michael Johnson, Jared Orlando, and Sam Meads. Stay tuned for next week.